Welcome everyone to day 2 of our virtual event in celebration of the International Day of Women in Mining. As you may know, that is celebrated every year on June 15th, and here we are mid-June. We're doing this again, and we're having a conversation about moving the mining industry into the future. So we kicked off yesterday. This is actually day 2 of a 2-day event. And if you missed day 1, don't worry, the replays are going to be available. And we're going to have a fantastic conversation today, building on some of the themes that were brought up. But before we get into any of that, I'm going to begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Neutral people. That is where I am in Waterloo, Ontario. So please feel free to do your own land acknowledgement in the chat or in any form that you choose. Acknowledging land shows a commitment to reconciliation and positive, respectful relationships with Indigenous people on the land where we live, work, play, and mine. And especially in the mining industry, where the land is such an integral part of the businesses that we run, we know that it's especially important. Reconciliation is top of mind. So at the Artemis Project, we commit to positive change, and we commit to moving mining into the future. We are not just about representation of women, but about transformation of the industry. And as such, as is the theme of our 2-day event here, we're committing to bringing mining into the future. So a key part of our commitment to that is, as a collective of women-owned businesses, is welcoming, celebrating, and amplifying Indigenous women in business. And you might think that they don't exist, but I can tell you that they absolutely do. In fact, we have one that we're going to be speaking with here today. Her name is Kari Lentowicz. She is the co-founder and just all-around powerhouse woman of Diamonds in the Rough, which is the lead of an all-female rescue team. So Kari, welcome, and thank you so much for being part of our ceremony here, our opening that kind of sets the tone for the day about moving mining into the future and really connecting in a very authentic way in how reconciliation plays a part of moving the mining industry forward.
Well, first of all, your acknowledgement was fantastic. Oh, yeah. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Your acknowledgement was fantastic. So yeah, I think it's great to have your take on it for sure, right? And meaningful. So that's
Well,
very appreciated by myself for sure. And
Well, thank you, Kari. And I know you and I had a chance to chat about this yesterday. And Kari was not only kind enough to do the land acknowledgement for us during our day 1, she also shared some tips with folks in the audience who are mining leaders, fellow Artemis members, and a lot of us are descended from settlers. We don't necessarily grow up knowing about Indigenous culture and about reconciliation and what we need to do. So Kari was kind enough to share some tips. And so I took it upon myself to implement those tips. And let's take a minute, and thank you for your feedback, Kari. I do appreciate that, of what makes a good land acknowledgement. It's one thing to read the script and sort of get on to the first agenda item. It's another thing to do it kind of more meaningfully. So share with
yes.
us what you think, and why does it matter to do meaningful land acknowledgements and reconciliation moments? Like, what does that mean?
Well, honestly, it means a lot coming from non-Indigenous people to have that land acknowledgement, to feel like we're seen, right? And that our rights are acknowledged. It is just a fabulous way of starting to connect, right? And no, it actually makes me quite emotional to hear that we're actually focusing on that. So I'm just going to dab my eyes now. But I really do appreciate it. And I think others would too. So no, I think it's fantastic. But Indigenous territories, people think, well, First Nations people, there are many different nations out there. So it's so important to acknowledge the nations that are where you are, because we are all different. We have different cultures, we have different practices, different languages, right? So it's important to acknowledge them. And one of the things too with the treaty territory, we all signed, well, not all, some of us signed the same treaties, but there's a lot of different treaties, and they come with a lot of different agreements in them. A lot of the agreements were similar, but there are a lot of different agreements in them. And it's important to really express why you're acknowledging it. That's where the meaningfulness comes in, is why are we acknowledging it? What has happened that it's necessary? And reflecting on that impact. It's not uncommon for people in our age group, let's be honest, to grow up not learning about Indigenous peoples, Indigenous cultures, and recognizing that we're still here is important. So, and Artemis Group, you knocked it out of the park with that. We're doing a heck of a lot to be inclusive, be diverse, and really push that diversity, inclusion, equity, and belonging in forward. And this is a group that I definitely feel like I belong as a First Nations woman. So it's great. So um the
Well, can I
one
just
of the
say
things,
quickly, Kari,
yeah,
like something to
please.
you personally? I've gotten a chance to know you and your heart and the way you give back and the enthusiasm you have and the grit that you have. Wait till you hear what Kari does in her business and how she leads other women to do incredible things, improbable things. I think that there's so much that connects us as entrepreneurs and as change agents and leaders, and you're so generous. I don't see how we couldn't welcome you into our group, and you give so much to us just by being yourself. We all really, really
Well,
appreciate you.
and vice versa. So you guys have been a big help. So absolutely. One thing I wanted to throw in here. Um, I had a chance last night to start watching Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't know if anybody's watched that, but it really has a good depiction of the treatment of Indigenous peoples in the States. So I mean, if nobody commits to anything else, like commit to watching a few movies that are out there just to
There you
learn a
go.
little bit more, right? One that I started watching, I was too tired last night to finish it. Killers of the Flower Moon. Another really good one on the Oka crisis is Beans, and my cousin just so happens to be in it, so there's a little plug for him. But it is a really good movie. Little Bird is another really good one. And then one of my old-time favorites for about Indigenous peoples from Australia is Rabbit Proof Fence. They all really depict the treatment of Indigenous people, the loss of culture. And it's just, there's a lot of the things that resonate with Indigenous people in those movies. And it's, some of them are hard to watch, but just, it's an easy way to gather some knowledge. I mean, of course, the stories definitely aren't, factual,
Yeah.
but to a fault. But yeah, just the general feel and treatment in there is yeah, it's pretty powerful. So yeah, I cried during the movie last night too. Maybe I'm just like feeling it still. But no, it's pretty emotional. So an easy win for people, right?
That's
Easy way to
amazing.
get it,
Thank you for
right?
that. I mean, see, you
Yeah.
tune in for an Artemis event and you get a little bonus allyship lesson here with some
Yeah.
recommendations. I know lots
Yeah.
of the speakers we're going to be hearing from today also have knowledge and experience in being allies to Indigenous peoples
Mm-hmm.
and working actively to advance their representation and
Yeah.
their treatment within the mining industry. So
Yeah.
really glad to have your input on that, Kari. And again, just so grateful for you giving of yourself and
Yeah.
of your heart, really, to help
Yeah.
us understand and help us be better allies as settler descended people.
Yeah. Well,
And
you're
can I
more
take
than
a minute
welcome.
and oh, thank you. So I don't want to step on your time to talk about your business as well, because you are running something called Diamonds in the Rough. Sandra, can you go to the
Mhm.
next slide? And I want to give Kari a couple minutes to just talk about Diamonds in the Rough and what is it that you do and what is it that you would like our audience to know about Diamonds in the Rough?
Well, one of the biggest things is just with Diamonds in the Rough, we really are helping build role models within within the mining industry by showing these powerhouses of women. And we all know that for a lot of us, we didn't have a lot of female role models available to really look up to and see that, hey, you know what, these women are there, we can be there too, because it's easier to see yourself in a position when you see others in those same fields. And you know, one of the things that we stress with these women is that you can do anything. If you say you can't, it's just simply because you don't want to enough, right?
Or because
So
you haven't
their
yet?
leadership, well, right, like, yeah, and that's just it. There's so much that we can do. Things have changed. There's no 350-pound men, you know, um, picking at the face with a pickaxe. You know, it's just not the way things are done in Canada anymore. In Colombia, I had the opportunity to go underground, and that was a big difference. But I mean, very small statured men using hand air chippers to mine, you know, is very different. But we mine differently. And there's a lot of smaller statured men that need to be included in this. And I think what we do as with this is really promote that too, is like looking at not just women, but getting those allies with men. And I think really talking about and pushing those changes that need to be made are really helping men too. So everything that we do here is it's for the greater good, right? It's not just us trying to say that we do belong, but that everybody belongs as well. If you want to do it, you should have the opportunity to do it, and that's what we want, right? We all want that opportunity.
That's amazing. And
And
Kari, can I just jump in to clarify for our audience that the it that you're describing that you do is mine rescue teams and mine rescue
yes,
competitions.
yes,
So we're talking all
yeah, sorry.
female teams
Yeah, I
going
guess I don't
toe to
even say that
toe.
in the slide.
That's okay. I just want to make sure everybody gets the full picture here
Yeah,
because looking at the
yeah.
team here, you're all dressed up. You're in your black formal dresses here. However, I've seen another photo of your team or one of your teams where you're all in your mine rescue gear and you've got a little dirt on your cheek and you're getting ready to go
Oh
underground.
yes,
So that's
absolutely.
the heart
I
of it.
mean, mine rescue is just a passion of mine. I started in 2006, and I love everything about it. Love everything about emergency response. I'm a firefighter back home. I teach first aid and mine rescue. I've competed 9 times. I've volunteered in I don't know how many mine rescue competitions. Most recently in Saskatchewan just a couple of weeks ago, which was so much fun. And I do it still because I learn too. I mean, the women that we involve from that participate in this program from Mine Rescue, they teach me so much too. You should see me when we're going to these events, like in Russia and West Virginia and even in Fernie. Man, these women made me cry just because I was so proud of how far they'd come in just 4 days. Like 4 days, they just, yeah, it's amazing. And I can't wait until 2026, honestly, where we are going to see a theme of Indigenous females from Canada participate in the International Mines Rescue Competition, because they're so underrepresented. We are so underrepresented in the mining industry, and especially in mine rescue, who tends to be an old boys club. So I'm really excited for that. We've we started getting a lot of Indigenous women's contacts that are in mine rescue. So if anyone knows of any other females that are Indigenous in mine rescue in Canada, please, please, please encourage them to put in an application, because it's going to be amazing. And we need those role models from Canada that are Indigenous, right? Because we've got a lot of Indigenous young women out there that might not see a role model. Some of it has to do with the stereotypical ideal of what we look like, but this is one way to show that we all look different as well, and we that we can do it, right?
Yeah.
I'm so excited about it. I can't wait.
I
Yeah.
love that,
So,
Kari. And it's just occurring to me, the theme of this year's International Day of Women in Mining is I am mining and I belong, and I
yeah,
can just see how for the women that sign up for your team and they get together and they train and they go into these competitions, and whether they win or place or, that's almost irrelevant because it's about the
yeah,
teamwork and the persevering and the skills and the
absolutely.
confidence that they gain in the process. Like what a great
Yep.
crash course in belonging to get in
Yeah.
there and do
Yeah.
just so
Can I,
challenging and
Yeah.
Erica, do you mind if I just jump in really quickly? Carrie, I just need to say thank you. When I first got into trades a number of years ago, I really wanted to be on the rescue team, the transportation rescue team. And I was literally told that because the wives of the men wouldn't appreciate me being out with their
Oh,
husbands, I was
oh,
not allowed. So like your whole thing just deeply, deeply touches me. And thank you so very much for doing the hard work. I just couldn't not say that. So thank you.
no, well, you're more than welcome. And absolutely speaking up about that is important as well, right? Just speaking up about your experiences and the ridiculousness of the excuses. Because it is ridiculous, and it's kind of hurtful, because come on, we're not in there to steal people's husbands by any means. Right? And from my experience, the wives love me. So, right? I mean, um, the biggest problem some woman might have with somebody in mining, yeah, or somebody on their husband's team, is if their husband doesn't want to introduce them to them, right? That's where things become questionable. But from my experience, that hasn't been the case. So why would we expect, just give it the opportunity to prove itself wrong, right?
mhm.
Not just jumping to the conclusions at the start, right? That's why women weren't allowed in mining for a lot of years too, because, well, hey, the women can't be there. What are the wives gonna think?
Mm.
Spending time underground with the men all day. So
I don't think I've ever
it's
actually heard that
ridiculous.
one before. I mean, good to know. Hopefully, this is going to become historical footnote that of something we used to think. I remember women didn't used to be allowed to travel on trains because it was something about our ovaries couldn't take the high velocity or
Oh my
something
God.
like that. Yeah. Yeah. Like there are these like examples of historical ridiculousness, which are, I
Yeah.
guess, interesting sometimes and very fun to put firmly into the past where they belong. So,
Yeah,
Kari, I have two more
absolutely.
things I want to ask you, and I know you got to go. First of
Yeah.
all, I want to say that, or maybe I can just say to our audience on your behalf that Diamonds in the Rough is currently looking for partnerships. They are open for sponsorship and looking to partner with mining companies that would like to participate. They can send their employees to participate as part of the team, or they can extend their support monetarily. Both are welcome. We'll make sure you have Kari's contact if you want to reach out to her and learn more about how sponsorship works. We would definitely welcome that conversation. And Kari, tell us where you're going today. I know you're getting honored for something that you did.
Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you where I am right now. Two dogs deciding to play with me right now. Oh, yeah, they're quite excitable. Um, it's Oh, you can see one's behind me. Anyway, I'm just gonna get up as I talk here, so I can go
It's okay.
elsewhere. Yeah, I'm staying at my aunt's place right now. I'm in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. I'm going to an award ceremony today. So part of my love of emergency response is definitely being a part of it wherever I can. So as part of my firefighting, we're getting an award, myself and some of my department from Denair Beach, for a rescue we did a few years ago. So it's and that's another really emotional thing.
Lives were
Yeah.
saved as a result of Kari's
Yes.
skill and dedication to her craft. Maybe that's enough to say we don't want to
Very
get you
emotional.
crying again, and I know you have to go, Kari,
Yeah.
but just didn't
No,
want to
we
waste the
had,
opportunity to let everyone know.
Yeah. We had 6 casualties and we saved 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry for the crying, but it's I wasn't emotional about it at all really until 2 weekends ago where I met one of the wives, and oh my god, she made me bawl at the banquet for this mine rescue competition. Yeah. And she was just so thankful. And we don't think about that side of it because really we just do what we think anyone else would do, right? And yeah, so she was very thankful, and I got to meet their kid, which was great too. And yeah, it was very emotional for her and I. And yeah. And one of the casualties and his wife are joining me today to go to this award ceremony, which will be really awesome. But yeah, so, and that's why we do it, right? Mine rescue, firefighting, any type of emergency response. That's why we do it. So it was very successful. None of our rescuers got hurt. And yeah, it turned out way better than I could have hoped. So yeah, I'm very, very happy about that.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. As you can see, we're all just so moved and so proud and admire you and everything you do so much. So thank you.
It's a very emotional morning for me. Jeez,
yes.
I didn't expect this.
Well, we really appreciate your time, Kari. Thank you. We'll let you let you go on. Of course, if you can stick around, we definitely welcome that. We're going to be hearing from each of our Artemis members, our women-owned business leaders, about their contribution and their passion. And we thank you, Kari, for sharing yours with us.
Absolutely. And I look forward to watching the recordings from yesterday and the rest from today. I'm going to try and stay on for a little bit to watch a little bit more, but I'll be getting ready as I do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, go pat those dogs for us. Go enjoy your well-deserved recognition. Get lots of hugs.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
hang
for
in there.
sure.
Keep being awesome. We so appreciate you.
All right.
Kari.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kari.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome.